We are here tonight in honor of the Scleroderma Foundation, a cause that was so near and dear to Bob's heart. And actually, I had a great aunt who had scleroderma, and I did, this whole project on it in middle school. And that's, when I really learned about Bob's relationship with the foundation. And now in my mind, it's like Bob is synonymous with the research. He did so much to keep his sister's memory alive. What is one thing that you think Bob would want the world to know about the disease?
That it can affect really anybody, but it mainly does affect women in the prime of their lives. And even though they've done so much work to further finding a cure, and they have done so much work to have amazing treatments and therapies, there's still so much work to be done. And that's why they work so tirelessly for research to find a cure, because it is such a horrific disease, as you know. It's disfiguring, it's painful, it's in many cases, not all, but in many cases it can be terminal. So, it's, and we don't exactly know why people get it. It's partly hereditary, but partly not hereditary. It's partly autoimmune, partly vascular. There's so many different things about it. And so that's why more research is so necessary to try to get to the bottom of it and actually find a cure and then put the SRF out of business.
I know, I love that. And you guys are doing such amazing work here. What is something Bob's death has taught you over the past 2 years, and what has this journey been like for you? I can imagine it's probably been a whirlwind.
Yeah, so life is very precious. We truly have no idea when it's just going to be taken away from us instantaneously. So it's, tell your loved ones that you love them, hug them, say it often, say it as much as you can. And I've learned in the past almost 3 years now, which is crazy, that so everyone has their own story with grief. I had never experienced it before. I had never gone through anything like this or any type of really significant loss in my life. And now I'm learning that once you go through it and you're like in the club, that people want to share with you and people want to tell you their stories and open up to you.
And you are now dating Breckin Meyer, truly a 90s icon. Clueless is my favorite movie ever. Do you think him and Bob share similar traits, or are they totally different?
They are so different, but where they share the same traits are that they're both absolutely hilarious, but in very different ways.
Okay.
They're both endlessly dedicated fathers. Bob was such an incredible dad to his girls, and Breckin is just endlessly devoted to his girls. And they're just good, honest, wonderful, strong men. And I'm just, very grateful to have had Bob in my life, and now very grateful to have Breckin.
Do you think Bob and Breckin would have been friends?
They were friends. They weren't close friends,
right.
But they were very friendly and really liked and respected each other. So,
and that's really nice to know that the man you were married to, the man you loved, would approve of
Breckin. That's why I felt good with it from the beginning.
Bob is he was so beloved. He was really America's dad to so many people, including myself from Full House. But how do you want him to be remembered, and how are you continuing his legacy?
I want him to be remembered as an incredible, selfless friend, father, husband, and someone who all he wanted to do was to make people laugh and to make people happy. And that's all, especially the last few years of his life, especially like during the pandemic, all he wanted to do was like, the world is hurting, I just want to make people laugh. And not only was that like the biggest burning desire in his soul, but he also just loved his family and his friends so endlessly and fearlessly. He would do anything for them. He was just had the biggest heart.
And he really did make everyone laugh for years, so he's incredible. What is one thing that you think would surprise fans to know about him?
Oh gosh, that he, a lot of people think that comedians are always laughing and they're always happy and always telling jokes all the time, and that is not the case. Bob had gone through a lot of loss in his life, a lot of pain, a lot of suffering. A lot of comedians turned to comedy because they had some very dark times in their life. And so even though he was a happy person, full of energy and full of laughter, he, was, when we were home, like, he was feeling the weight of the world and the pain of the world a lot. He was not, people who are married to comedians know that they're not laughing all the time.
And What is one memory you can share with Bob? Maybe a favorite memory. I know you have so many, but what comes to mind when you think about one memory that solidifies your relationship?
Oh gosh. Our wedding was so special. It was so nice because he never thought he was going to find love again. And we had such a beautiful wedding. It was very intimate with just so many wonderful close friends. And it was so amazing to see him so happy. And to really be like, wow, even at 60 years old, he was able to find love again. So I was happy that I was able to make him happy for when I did.
Is there one thing in your marriage to Bob that you took over into your relationship with Brecken? Maybe something he taught you, something he lived by?
Just being very open about communicating. It's like if there's something you're feeling or going through, it's like share it, talk about it, and be honest and open about it, because that's keeping things in and like letting things fester is like the worst thing you could do.
Yeah. And we're approaching the 3-year mark. How do you navigate that day? Do you do something similar every year, or is it kind of just you celebrate him every day, that day is just extra special? What does that look like for you?
It's different every year. The first year was incredibly hard. Last year was a little bit easier. I mean, it's always hard because then I take myself back to that actual day and it's just pretty horrible. But last year was easier, and I'm assuming this year will be a little bit easier. But I spend as much time as I can with his daughters and talking about him, and we share about him all the time.
And Candace Cameron Bure released season 8 of her podcast today, and she actually posted a clip talking about her grief over losing Bob. What is it like to have the support from the Full House family, and are you guys all still as close today?
Yeah, I mean, as I mentioned before, like I don't talk to them every day, but I just know that they're always there for me, and I love them, and I know I always have their support, and it just means so much that they're just a phone call away whenever I need them.